have perverts that are perverting our kids.
Too much propaganda, spiritual pollution. Too many problems, not enough solutions. So many billionaires that make no contributions. Gotta create fun and maintain our institution.
All right, listen up, y'all.
Greetings, everybody. This is another episode of All Things Education Official. I am your host and educator, DrAbdullah, giving you educational news from a foundational Black American man's perspective. If you like what you're seeing, like what you're hearing, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. And follow me on my social handles at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, LinkedIn, and X. Well, today's topic isn't going to be a doozy, but I guess the content would be considered as such. We're going to be talking about the importance of what's going into the books, not just what's online, but what's in our libraries and our school libraries. And also the importance of being involved in the academic process.
Book here, it's called It's Perfectly Normal. I'll read some of this for you. It says, after a bit, a person's becomes moist and slippery, and the clitoris becomes hard. After a bit, a person's becomes erect, stiff, and larger. Sometimes a bit of clear fluid that may contain a few sperm comes out of the tip of the penis and makes it wet.
Can we, sir, I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system? We have perverts that are perverting our kids. And you all sit back smug in your chairs, but you don't want me to read it. Why? Does it bother you? Yes or no? You can't answer that question. You want to know why? Because politically speaking, you can't say that it's wrong. And you don't want me to read the filth because it exposes the truth. How dare you tell me to stop reading it? If you don't want to hear it, why should the children have to see it?
Pastor, your time is up. Thank you.
That makes two of us.
Man, look, I just decided that the best way to approach this is it's a two-pronged approach. The first approach would be, of course, the content of which he spoke. Some people say we have an agenda going on. Some people say that there's a concerted effort to confuse our children. I'm going to leave it here and say that when you start talking about children, issues of sexuality, gender, and all those things should be left to the parents. We need to be respectful of parents' homes, their rules, their norms, their values. We need to be respectful of that. And I think that what's going on in public education in a lot of different cities and states, particularly liberal states that believe that the school should control what's going on with children, I think that that's a travesty. But what I found to be the most important thing out of this video is not the content of what actually was stated, but the fact that he did the research. He found the book, or the book was given to him. He read the book and he brought it to the school board. Right now, what you see is a laissez-faire, just do what you want as it pertains to children in education, particularly Black children. And we need to pay attention to what the politicians are saying or what they're not saying. And when you hear them speak, you only hear them briefly touch on the importance of education. But when it comes to foundational Black American children, education is of the utmost importance, but not just the education that gives you access to colleges. We're talking about education about cultural norms. We're talking about education about things that would help children and their families to lift themselves out of poverty, which goes into our final point. When you hear politicians speak or anyone speak, you always hear them speak of the middle class, taxing the rich and cutting taxes for the middle class. But I'm a member of that elusive middle class that's shrinking, and in most places it doesn't even exist anymore. And I know that in order to raise my level, I've got to raise the level of those in the lower class, the poorer class, that have lower social economic structures. Right now, it says in fall 2021, the percentage of students who attended high poverty schools was highest for Hispanic students at 38%, followed by Black students at 37%. So we're talking about 38 out of 100 in the Hispanic community and 37 out of 100 in the Black community that are below the poverty line. we need to stop thinking that the only way we're going to get our people, and I talk about our people, I mean the Black American community, out of this rut that we're in that is intentionally created. The only way we're going to get them out is to just college them to death. That ain't going to work, people. There are so many ways to get into poverty, but there's more than one way to get them out. And that's why, as you know, I always talk about expanding our reach into institutions, creating institutions, businesses, schools, hospitals, grocery stores, whatever institution that makes the community work. We need to definitely be working on that, because right now what we're talking about is what this man is talking about. He's talking about how things are put into the educational system and parents don't even have a fight. They don't have knowledge of what's going on because they're not in these meetings. They're not hearing what's being taught to their children. A lot of them, because of their economic situation, they're working whatever hours that are allowed, what hours are given, and they're utilizing school as a babysitting service and de facto raise their children. It's not going to work. So it is incumbent upon us who have the extra time, who have the wherewithal and the knowledge to attend these meetings and fight for the children that may not be in our homes. As an educator, I fight for children every day. And sometimes I recognize, as I had to tell a colleague last week, as this parent berated a kindergartner, I said, you know, that's a situation that I've encountered many times, and we're going to have to work over, under, through, and around that parent to make sure that that child receives the best possible experience in an academic setting. Also, that they can receive the best possible education while we have access to them, because passing them along is the norm in public education. And we wonder why poverty has infiltrated our community and has come to stay. That's no longer the message. We need to be telling our children that you don't have to go to college to be successful, but you can do a ton of things to be a successful citizen and contribute to not only your families, your friends, but your overall community. Once again, this is another episode of All Things Education Official. I am your host and educator, Dr. Abdullah. I would like to say that ultimately, if we're going to do this, we're going to have to attend our school board meetings, our city council meetings. We're going to have to be involved in the process of our local politicians. You are dismissed.
Yeah! You are all expurgated. You are dismissed.
Too much propaganda, spiritual pollution. Too many problems, not enough solutions. So many billionaires that make no contributions. Gotta create fund and maintain our institutions. Word to the masses, our government is backwards. Only thing I've learned is what a babble when a crab is. Deploying all these tactics to keep us all distracted. Scrolling on our gadgets and we scroll right past it. While we caught up in the fashion, they sitting back laughing. This education we're lacking, all the laws they be passing. Peep the curriculum, you see they're subtracting the necessary work. These kids mentally absent. Turned out full plastic.